Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This was going to be pretty interesting because we're taking a look at Thailand.
Specifically, a recent episode of the podcast Thailand Aktuell.
Yeah, exactly. It's hosted by Nirachaya and Karam, and they do a really good job of covering a wide range of topics.
Definitely. They touch on everything from tourism and travel to legal issues, political developments, and even some interesting social media trends.
It's a great way to get a feel for what's happening in Thailand right now. And we know you're interested in Thailand, so we've picked out some stories that we think you'll find particularly interesting.
For example, they talked about this new tourist tax that Thailand is planning to introduce for air travelers starting in January 2025.
Oh yeah, I read about that. It's 300 baht, right?
Right.
Which is about $9 US.
That's right. But here's something I bet you didn't know. 60 baht of that fee will actually go towards a 30-day accident insurance premium.
Really? I hadn't heard that. That's a pretty cool idea. I wonder if other countries will start doing something similar.
It's definitely an interesting approach, and they're planning to implement it through a system similar to South Korea's KETA.
So you'll be able to register and pay the fee online or through an app.
Okay.
And eventually they plan to extend the tax to land entries as well.
Makes sense to have a consistent system, so if you're planning a trip to Thailand in 2025 and beyond, just be aware that you'll have to factor in this new tourist tax.
Good to know. Now let's move on to something a bit more controversial. They talked about this legal battle brewing over on Koh Samui involving some luxury villas.
Ah, yes. The infamous Koh Samui villa dispute. It's a pretty wild story.
I don't think I'm familiar with this one. Fill me in.
So there are these 11 absolutely stunning luxury villas on their island that were built without the proper permit.
Uh-oh, that sounds like a recipe for trouble.
It is. Back in 2019, demolition orders were issued, but the owners are refusing to budge. They're basically in a standoff with the authorities.
Wow. So what are the owners saying in their defense?
Well, they're arguing that there were procedural errors in how the authorities handled the case, and they're challenging the demolition orders in court.
Interesting. So this case really raises some important questions about the rule of law and the power dynamics between wealthy individuals and the government.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. The outcome could have implications for other development projects in Thailand.
For sure. Okay, now let's shift gears and talk about politics. Thailand Aktuell also covered the legal troubles of Thaksin.
Yeah, this is a big one. He's a very influential figure in Thai politics, the former prime minister, and the driving force behind the Pheu Thai party.
I'm vaguely familiar with his name, but I don't really know the details.
Well, he's facing a slew of accusations right now, including interfering in party affairs, influencing political decisions, and even evading his prison sentence.
Full on evading his prison sentence. Didn't he receive a royal pardon a while back?
He did, but there are allegations that he's using medical treatment abroad as a way to avoid actually serving his time.
Ah, I see. So the legal drama continues. And what's the latest on the case?
The Constitutional Court is really pushing for a speedy resolution. They've given the Attorney General's office just 15 days to submit all of their evidence.
15 days. That's a tight deadline. This is obviously a high-priority case.
It is. The outcome could have major ramifications for Thai politics, especially for the Pheu Thai party and for Mr. Shinawatra's daughter, Paetong Tarn.
It's like a real-life political thriller unfolding before our eyes. Okay, let's take a break from the serious stuff for a moment and talk about something a little lighter. Thailand Aktuell also mentioned this viral incident that happened at a market in Chiang Mai.
Oh yeah, the Chiang Mai boloi incident. This one really blew up on social media.
Wally. What's Wally?
They're these little sticky rice balls filled with sweet coconut cream. They're super popular street food in Thailand.
Okay, that sounds delicious. So what happened with the bualoi?
Well, a foreign tourist was smoking near a buali stand, and the vendor politely asked him to stop because it was dangerous to be smoking near the gas stove.
That makes sense. So what happened? Did the tourist comply?
Unfortunately, no. Things escalated pretty quickly, and the tourist ended up throwing his cigarette at the stall, knocking over trays of boloi, and even flicking his cigarette towards the vendor's sister.
Oh, wow. That's awful. What a jerk.
Luckily, no one was injured. The tourist and his friends apologized and left the market, but the whole incident was caught on video and went viral on TikTok.
That's crazy. It's a good reminder to be mindful of local customs and to always be respectful when you're traveling.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh.
All right, let's move on to a topic that's a bit more serious, but important for anyone planning to travel to Thailand in the near future weather.
Yeah, I heard there were some tropical storms brewing.
That's right. Tropical storm Trami was headed towards Thailand, and there were warnings about heavy rainfall and potential flooding in several provinces.
So which areas were most at risk?
Northeastern Thailand was expected to be hit pretty hard, particularly provinces like Ubon Ratchathani, Amnat, Charoen Mukdahan, and Yasethan. They were bracing for some serious downpours.
And what about other parts of the country?
Well, the southern provinces were also on alert for heavy rain, and there were even warnings issued for 10 provinces along the Chao Phraya River, including Bangkok.
Wow, so it sounds like this storm had the potential to affect a large portion of the country.
It did. But thankfully, it seems like the impact wasn't as severe as initially feared. There were reports of some localized flooding, but no major casualties.
That's good to hear. It's a reminder that we should always stay informed about weather updates and be prepared for potential disruptions when we're traveling.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk about something that's been in the news a lot lately, pollution at Pattaya Beach.
Yeah, Pattaya is one of Thailand's most famous beaches, but I've heard some concerning reports about trash and pollution.
It's a growing problem. Tourists have been complaining about all sorts of garbage piling up on the beach, everything from cigarette butts and plastic bags to food containers and even bits of styrofoam.
That's so sad to hear. It's such a beautiful place. It's a shame that people are treating it that way.
It is, and this kind of pollution not only harms the environment, but it also hurts tourism. Nobody wants to visit a beach covered in trash.
True. It's a reminder that we all need to do our part to protect the environment, even when we're on vacation.
Absolutely. Okay, let's end this part of our deep dive on a more positive note. Did you hear about the island that's up for sale in Thailand?
An island for sale.
Yeah.
Now, that's something you don't hear every day. Tell me more.
So it's called Koh Kam, and it's a beautiful island located in Trap Province, just a short distance from Koh Mak. It's being advertised as a piece of paradise with pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, and stunning rock formations.
Wow, that sounds incredible. How much are they asking for this slice of paradise?
The price tag is a cool 88 billion baht, which is roughly 54 million US dollars.
Okay, so it's not exactly pocket change. But I'm guessing there's more to this story than meets the eye?
You're right. Koh Kam actually has a bit of a controversial history with legal disputes over land ownership and allegations of unauthorized construction.
That definitely adds another layer of complexity to the story. So who do you think will buy this island, and what will they do with it?
That's a great question. It'll be interesting to see who the new owner is and what their vision for Koh Kam is.
I'm definitely curious to see how this unfolds.
Me too. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah, we were talking about Koh Kam, that island up for sale. It's a pretty fascinating story when you dig a little deeper.
I was wondering about those legal issues you mentioned earlier. Did they ever get resolved?
Well, not really. It turns out there's been a long history of disputes over land ownership and construction permits on the island.
Oh, really? What happened?
Back in 2014, the owner at the time got into some legal trouble. They were accused of violating forestry and marine regulations by putting up unauthorized buildings.
So basically they were building stuff where they weren't supposed to.
Exactly. And since then, the island has actually changed hands several times.
So there's a bit of a checkered past there.
Yeah.
It makes you think twice about buying it, doesn't it?
It does. The current owner is a restaurant owner from Chonburi, and they've decided to put it back on the market.
It'll be interesting to see who bites. It's a risky investment, considering all the legal baggage.
Definitely. It's a beautiful island, but there's definitely some uncertainty surrounding its future.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears back to that incident in Chiang Mai with the tourist and the boloi vendor. It really struck me how easily a simple misunderstanding can escalate into something much bigger.
Yeah, cultural differences can definitely play a role in situations like that.
Can you remind us what happened exactly?
So this tourist was smoking near a boloi stand, and the vendor politely asked him to put out a cigarette because it was dangerous to be smoking so close to the gas stove where she was cooking.
That's a perfectly reasonable request. You wouldn't want cigarette ash falling into your food.
Exactly. But for some reason, the tourist got really upset. He ended up throwing his cigarette at the stall, knocking over trays of boloi, and even flicked his cigarette toward the vendor's sister.
Wow, that's totally unacceptable. Sounds like he completely overreacted.
He did. Luckily, no one was hurt. The tourist's friends calmed him down, and they apologized to the vendor before leaving the market. But the whole thing was caught on video and quickly went viral.
It just goes to show you how important it is to be aware of local customs and to always be respectful when you're traveling in a foreign country.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, let's talk about Tropical Storm Tremi. I know there were some concerns about its potential impact on Thailand.
What happened? Did it hit hard?
Well, the storm did bring heavy rain to several provinces, especially in the northeast and the south. But thankfully, it wasn't as bad as some people were fearing.
That's a relief. Were there any reports of flooding or damage?
There was some localized flooding reported, but nothing too serious. And thankfully, there were no major casualties.
That's good to hear. It sounds like the authorities were well prepared and people heeded the warnings.
They did. The Thai Meteorological Department did a great job of tracking the storm and issuing timely alerts.
It's a good reminder to always stay informed about weather conditions, especially during monsoon season.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about Pattaya Beach for a minute. We were discussing the pollution problem there.
Yeah, it's really sad to see such a beautiful place being spoiled by trash.
It is, and unfortunately, it seems like it's getting worse. There are multiple factors contributing to the problem.
Like what?
Well, there's definitely a lot of littering by tourists, but there are also issues with waste management and illegal dumping. Plus, ocean currents can bring debris from other areas.
So it's a complex problem that requires a multifaceted solution.
Exactly. The local authorities are trying to clean things up and raise awareness about the importance of responsible waste disposal, but it's an ongoing battle.
It's a reminder that we all have a responsibility to protect the environment, even when we're on vacation.
Well said. Okay, let's circle back to those controversial villas on Koh Samui. We were talking about the legal battle over the demolition orders.
Are those villas still standing?
You're not going to believe this, but the saga continues.
Really? What's the latest?
The villa owners are still fighting tooth and nail to save their properties. They're arguing that the demolition orders are unlawful, and they're taking their case to court.
So they're basically challenging the entire process.
That's right. Their lawyers are claiming that there were procedural errors in how the local authorities handled the case from the very beginning.
It's hard to say whether this is a genuine concern about due process or just a delaying tactic.
I know, it's a complicated situation. But the outcome could have significant implications for future development projects in Thailand.
Absolutely. If the villa owners win, it could set a precedent for others to challenge similar rulings.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Okay, let's wrap things up with one last story. The legal troubles of Thaksin Shinawatra. This one has the potential to really shake things up in Thai politics.
It does. As you recall, Mr. Shinawatra is facing some serious accusations, including meddling in party affairs and influencing political decisions.
And let's not forget the allegations that he's evading his prison sentence.
Right, so there was this secret meeting that took place at his residence in Bangkok after the previous prime minister was removed.
A secret meeting? Sounds intriguing.
It was. This meeting is at the heart of the accusations against him. Critics are saying that he was trying to manipulate the formation of a new government and exert undue influence over the Pheu Thai party.
So it's all about power and who's pulling the strings.
Pretty much. And then there's the whole issue of him allegedly using medical treatment abroad as a way to avoid serving his prison sentence.
That's a pretty serious accusation.
It is. And it's really fueled the fire among his opponents.
So what's next in this legal drama?
The Constitutional Court is really turning up the heat. They've given the Attorney General's office just 15 days to submit all of their evidence.
15 days. That's not a lot of time. This case is moving fast.
It is. And the stakes are high. The outcome could have a major impact on the Pheu Thai party and even on Mr. Shinawatra's daughter's political aspirations.
It's like something out of a House of Cards episode.
I know, right? Thai politics can be pretty intense.
You know, it's amazing how these seemingly unrelated stories from Thailand Actual all connect in some way. They give us a glimpse into the complexities of life in Thailand.
I agree. It's a country that's full of contradictions and contrasts, but that's what makes it so fascinating.
Absolutely.
It's incredible how much we've learned about Thailand today just from these few stories from THAILAND AKTUELL.
Right. It's like each story opens a window into a different aspect of Thai society, whether it's the legal system, the political landscape, or the challenges of balancing tourism with environmental protection.
Absolutely. And it's also interconnected. You can really see how these different issues influence and shape one another.
For sure. And before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to that island that's up for sale, Koh Kam.
Ah, yes. The would-be slice of paradise with a somewhat complicated past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful island, no doubt, but it also comes with its fair share of challenges and controversies.
Like those legal battles over land ownership and those allegations of unauthorized construction.
Right. It makes you wonder what will become of this island in the hands of a new owner.
Will they prioritize conservation and responsible development, or will they fall into the same traps as previous owners? It's a question that lingers in my mind.
I'm curious, too. We'll have to keep an eye on that story and see how it unfolds. But for now, let's shift our focus back to you, our listener. We've taken you on quite a journey today through the ups and downs of life in Thailand.
We've explored everything from the bustling markets of Chiang Mai to the pristine beaches of Koh Samui, from the halls of power in Bangkok to the heart of a viral social media storm.
And through it all, we've tried to paint a nuanced and balanced picture of Thailand, a country that's grappling with complex issues but also full of vibrant culture and incredible potential.
So as you continue to explore and learn about Thailand, whether through travel or through engaging with stories like the ones we've shared today, I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question. What kind of future do you envision for Thailand?
What role will tourism development play in shaping that future? And how can Thailand preserve its rich cultural heritage while embracing progress and modernization?
It's a question that deserves careful consideration and thoughtful discussion. And we hope that this deep dive has equipped you with the knowledge and insights to participate in that conversation.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Thailand Aktuell. We'll be back soon with more fascinating stories from around the world. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those minds open.
See you next time.